There are several characteristics of women's language. For example, women tend to use lexical hedges or fillers, tag questions, rising intonation, and also intensifiers. Well, there are several studies that have been conducted in terms of gender differences in communication, especially in English language teaching. For example, here, Hadedi and Monsevi in 2015 had observed about male and female teachers, EFL teachers' politeness strategies in oral discourse and their effects on the learning process and teacher-student interaction in Iranian context. And they found that there are some differences on the way male and female teachers apply politeness strategies. For example, here, for female teachers, they tend to use more referential questions, more compliments, fewer directive forms. But on the other hand, male teachers use a more competitive style in the classes, more display questions, and to see more evaluation on their part. Another study was conducted by Mahmud in 2010, and this highlights the impact of gender differences in English language teaching by exploring the learning styles of English students. And of course, Mahmud also found that there are differences between female and male students in terms of learning English. Well, in this paper, we are going to see the reflections of the features of women's language, for example, lexical hedges, tag questions, and the adjectives, precise color terms, intensifier, hypercorrect grammar, super polite forms, and emphatic stress, in the way the teachers use communicative styles in teaching English. Here are the types of communicative styles that we are going to discuss. Here I say that communicative style is an important aspect of teachers and students' communication in the class. We say so because teachers and students will communicate a lot in the class, and of course, the successful communication in the class between teachers and students will influence their classroom interaction. So, the use of communicative styles in the class by teachers can influence the success of communication in the class. And here, the communicative style can be influenced by many factors, and one of them is gender differences. Here are the types of communicative styles. I will go through one of them, each one of them, but not a very long explanation. For example, the dominant communicative style, in which the teachers who use dominant communicative style will speak frequently, strongly, and very dominating in the class. And there is also a style of dramatic communicative style, in which people who use this style tend to manipulate all things in the way they communicate in the class. And argumentative communicative style here, in which the people will not be afraid to challenge others. Yeah, they tend to argue with each other. While animated communicative style here mostly rely on facial expression to convey meanings. Another style is impression living. Impression living here is quite unique and easy for receivers to differentiate from other communication partners. While here is another style that is called friendly communication. Friendly here means that the communicator tend to use a lot recognition of the accomplishment and also value of communication partners. Relax. Yes, we have relaxed communicative styles, in which the people who use this style will be easily to interact with each other, although it is in a high stress situations. And there is also attentive communicative style, in which the speaker will become a good listener. Yeah, and then lets communication partners know that they are being heard. Another style, open communicative style. Here, people who use this style will not be afraid to express their thought and emotion, and will generally let others know how they feel. And the last one is precise style. In this kind, they are able to explain the content. And so the teachers try to give a lot of concern on the content of the materials in teaching. Those are the communicative styles that we are going to explore in relation to the presence of women's language. And in this paper, we had already conducted a kind of qualitative research study in which we collected, analyzed, and interpreted some comprehensive narrative visual data. And then here, the main focus is that to get description about women's language used by the lecturers in teaching, and also the reflection of that women's language in communication style. Yes, the data. We took the data by recording. We recorded the teaching process of the two female lecturers at the State University of Makassar. And then after that, after we collected the data from recordings, we transcribed the appearances of the teachers in the teaching process in the forms of extracts, and then we analyzed by using this course analysis approach. Here, some of the examples of the data that we have found, the characteristics of women's language that the teacher used. We present in the form of extract, and then there will be analysis or explanation about each extract. One of the example here is the use of intensifier. This is the extract, and the bold one here, so today we will start for the subject, blah blah blah. That's actually the main focus of the extract. The use of so here, at the beginning of the conversation is a kind of intensifier that is normally used by the teachers in the class. That's one of the example. We got a lot of extracts about that, showing that the teachers try to use more intensifiers in the way they teach. Another one is about emphatic stress. In this case, the teachers try to give emphasis on the meaning. Whatever they explain in the class, they try to give emphasis in which they try to stress the meaning or the content of the conversation. Say, for example, ada yang sudah membaca, anyone who has read, every time she try to repeat and repeat in order to make more emphasis on the meaning in the class. And I got a lot of extracts about that. Another one is about question tag. Question tag. Question tag here, for example, Wattpad is also short story, right? This is a kind of question tag. Actually, in English, the use of question tag is like this. Wattpad is also short story, isn't it? But here this is a typical Indonesian language in which it is right here is translated from Indonesian language. But that is the main function for that is for using question tag. A lot of extracts about that in which used by the teachers in the class. And super polite forms. Super polite forms, some of the extracts that we got from the recordings show that the teachers are likely to use more super polite forms in their language. For example, here in this extract, teachers like to use thank you for many times in their conversation. Yes. Say for example, thank you, that's fine. And then another one, when there is another conversation, say again thank you. And please, thank you, and also greeting are expressed for modern times in the teaching process. Actually, there are still a lot of extracts about the use of communicative style, the use of women's language in the communicative style. These are all the samples that we can present here. What we can get from this discussion? Here we can see that using intensifiers, tag questions, emphatic stress, super polite forms show that lecturers are willing to be good listeners and pay attention to the students' needs and be understanding. That's we get from the use of those women language. That's one of the conclusions that we can get, that lecturers are willing to be good listeners. And in relation to the communicative style that we have discussed just now, that is categorized as attentive communicative style. So we can see that the use of women's language can show the attentive communicative styles of the teacher, which means that the teachers, by using tag question, emphatic stress, and other kinds of women's language, show that they are showing attentive communication style, which is they become good listener. What is the implication here? We can see that the study proves the existence of women's language that have been observed by Latok 1976 and also Tanner 1990 and 1994. It shows that women's language can be seen in many other settings of communication. Even in the teaching process of the lecturers in the class, the presence of women's language can be easily observed. And here we can see that the women's language provides positive effects on the performance of the English lecturers in teaching English, especially in their communicative styles. Why I say so? Because teachers need to be a facilitator in the class. Although the teachers will dominate the classroom interaction because they are